music was my first love. And so that sort of got pushed by the wayside. And then I'm like, oh, you're funny, or oh, you like to cry a lot? That's great. So luckily I had, a wonderful TV film career that took 12 years, by the way. It wasn't like it happened overnight. But anyway, I digress. But I went to come see Candy Burris in this role. And she and I shared the same publicist. And I was like, what is this? First of all, I love the show. And then I was like, and I grew up with the music. And then I was like, oh, but this role. And then my publicist was like, I think you could do that. And I was like, I don't think so. That's hard. There's going to be a lot of moving around. I don't know about that at my age. And then she was like, I don't know, like maybe just take a meeting and see like what their interest is. And like, so yeah, we just sort of talked and I was like, okay. And then I ended up doing a call with like, literally I'm on the phone queuing up my music on my iPhone while I'm on my Zoom meeting with Dom and Susanna. And I was like, guys, if this goes off without a hitch, I'll be very surprised. And it did. Like we're talking about technical glitches. And and so now I'm here. My put-in was on Friday. What? And tomorrow is my first day. I can't Adam and Eve it. I don't even know what's happening. So yeah, I mean, it's a bucket list dream. I've always wanted to do Broadway. I wanted to do theater in high school, but I was too afraid of my own shadow, and all the cool kids were doing theater. So yeah, sometimes dreams just take a little time to get around to them. I'm a late bloomer. That's all. So the weeks leading up to the actual performance, the first week I was like, oh, I don't think I can do this. Like, I think this is too hard. I cried for a couple days. I was like, I'm not getting the choreo, as the dancers call it. And yes, I mean, that I could get. It's the other stuff, folks. However, as I started to sort of literally get my footing, I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. Like, I have components. Let's just all piece it together in the puzzle. And it took a little time because I haven't been trained at like a gorgeous, wonderful musical theater school. And so I was like, am I equipped? Like, can I do this? Did they hire the right girl? And so now I'm like, oh yeah, okay. It just took a little time. There was some growing pains. Honey, the feet was barking, the legs was howling. I'm not even doing much dancing compared to all the incredible ensemble players. Like, I'm in awe. I'm so in awe. Can we get them paid more? I am in awe of them, and I'm like, okay, if all else fails, just do it with excitement and joy and try to follow along. But yeah, it's been a journey for sure. And it's happening. I've been a friend of Lori forever because I'm obsessed with the Olympics. And so when I came on and I knew Lori was there, I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, just love. And Gianna is, I was saying earlier, like, she's built different. But I think everybody on the show is. And like, so nice to work with Allie and Drew. And I'm just like so grateful. Everybody's been so supportive and encouraging. And it feels very communal in the art making, which doesn't always feel that way with TV and film, and they're really like, they got your back in a real way. So I'm just, I feel very, very fortunate. And it's very helpful that I love the music and I love everyone involved. I'm like a true fan of the show. I've seen the show, I think 10 times now. And I always look at the audience, and whether it's young girls, young kids who are just like giggling at the Lance and Angélique of it, or the fun, numbers where they've become the wonderful songs that Max Martin has created, but like just developed into a different feeling is so cool. But also to see the joy, and whether it's a dad crying, at the Shape of My Heart, or just the joy of Roar and the excitement of seeing someone really come into their own. But also everybody has a really beautiful story arc that they're changing and they're evolving. And I think it's the joy. I think it's the excitement of the music. It's beautifully choreographed and done, and the costumes are incredible. I think it's all of those things. The show always makes me feel so good when I leave, which is not always the case for a lot of projects and a lot of art, which is so refreshing. And I mean, I am always like jamming and on my feet, and like you can't help but not sing to any of the songs. Like Problem, when Juliet is just jamming, you like are engaged with the audience with all of the actors. It's really, really just so fun, and there's such a beautiful message. So it's hard to not be really engaged in it. And it's now I've gotten to the point where I'm watching all the audience, because if they've seen it for the first time. And there was a girl from Arkansas. She's like, I've never seen a musical theater show in my life. And her mom was like, I'm such a huge fan, but like, I thought you were in it tonight. I was like, oh girl, I'm still rehearsing, but soon. And she was like, oh my God, I laughed. I cried. I felt something so deeply in her. There's always an impact that the show makes. So yeah, it's very special. It's very special. I think people are like, oh, she's the girl who cries a lot on TV. And I do. But I think this role in particular is so fun. It's so joyful, but there's so much wit and comedy to it that a lot of people haven't seen that aspect of who I am. And I thought I was going to be an SNL girly. Like I was like gunning for the SNL. And so now I think just sort of enlightening people to the comedic side of me, and then marrying it with the dance, with the acting and the show and the music. I'm really excited because I think people are going to see another side of me that they haven't seen. Yeah, and I also, people have heard my music or they've come to a show, but portraying a character and really bringing my roots to it, just wait and see, has been so fun. So I think that it'll be something that you haven't seen yet.